The cosmic wavelength of VV303, a journey into the abyss. There's a point where sound ceases to be sound and becomes a living, breathing entity. A place where beats are not just heard, but felt in the marrow of your bones, and melodies crawl under your skin like a fever dream. This is the dimension where Belgian producer VV303 exists, somewhere between the depths of dark ambient and the raw machinery of industrial sound. In this chaotic, sonic jungle of glitches and growls, he stands alone as a shaman, leading listeners through a world of swirling shadows and flickering neon lights. The Genesis, birthed from the noise of the 90s. Picture it, Belgium, the 1990s. The industrial revolution of electronic music is in full swing. The air crackles with the mechanical thrum of techno, ambient, and industrial, and the night is alive with the frenetic energy of Nine Inch Nails, Aphex Twin, and The Prodigy. The world is changing, and music, real music, is evolving into something darker, something deeper. It is in this primeval soup of sound that VV303 first finds his voice. A kid in his bedroom, surrounded by an arsenal of synthesizers, drum machines, and cables. Nothing glamorous, just a freak with a dream and a hunger to make noise. But this wasn't just noise, it was an awakening. His early experiments were not about crafting simple rhythms or catchy melodies. No, they were about creating a parallel universe with his machines. A universe that was as claustrophobic and metallic as it was expansive and infinite. He recalls in an interview, "I wanted sound that felt more than it was heard, a story that didn't need words." And so, the world of VV303 was born, one where emotion wasn't just implied, it was felt. It was raw, it was dangerous, and it was about to explode into something we've never quite heard before. The sound of the abyss, where machines and souls collide. Imagine if the cold, industrial precision of Trent Reznor had a love affair with the transcendent, ethereal landscapes of Brian Eno. Now throw in a Belgian twist that's equal parts haunting and hypnotic. That's VV303. His sound isn't meant to entertain. It's meant to pull you into an alternate dimension, one where time and space are irrelevant, and your soul gets tangled in the rhythmic pulse of the machines. This isn't music for dancing. It's music for thinking, for losing yourself in thought, for getting lost in the labyrinth of your own mind. It's a soundtrack to the weirdest, most surreal fever dream you've ever had. His work has layers, like a forgotten cathedral buried beneath the noise of the world, calling out to those brave enough to venture deep. He releases Cosmic Rituals and Twisted Hymns. Harder State of Trance, Chapter 3-inch, 2018. The title alone screams battle cry. This was VV303's full-on assault on the electronic scene, a declaration of war against the mundane. This album doesn't give you a groove to bob your head to. It sends you into a state of trance, yes, but a hard one. Tracks like Mechanical Twilight take you through an industrial wasteland, where the bass is heavy enough to crack your ribs and the synths are so cold, they might freeze your heart. Shadow Dance, 2020. If Chapter 3 was the opening act, Shadow Dance was the main event. The tracks on this album are deep, dark, and pulsing with an almost cinematic quality. Eclipsed Horizons makes you feel like you're floating in space, suspended between melancholy and a strange hope, drifting through the void. It's music that pulls you in and forces you to stare into the abyss of your own thoughts, challenging you to confront what lies within. Every release from VV303 is like another layer of paint on the canvas of a soundscape that nobody else dares to paint. The cult of VV303, building a new world. But VV303 isn't just a studio-bound recluse, tapping away in isolation. No, he's out there, carving a path through Belgium's underground electronic scene. Working with labels like Clusterpark and Bunk 3 are three chords to create and expand. The man is everywhere, not in the mainstream sense, but in the sense that his presence lingers in the places where creative minds meet. His live shows, well, calling them performances would be a disservice. These aren't concerts, they're experiences. Picture this: a darkened room, the pulsing glow of lights, the low hum of machines vibrating through your bones, and the overwhelming sense that the very air around you is alive. His shows are multisensory events, visuals, lights, sound, all converging into one surreal, immersive experience. It's not just music. It's like stepping into an alien world where nothing makes sense, but everything feels right. Fans have said, it's like he opens a window to another world, and they're right. He's not just playing for you. He's showing you a world only he can see. Breaking boundaries, breaking minds. At a time when electronic music is often mired in formulaic structures and mindless commercialism, VV303 stands as a singular force of chaos and creativity. He doesn't care about trends or charts. He's here to break the rules, to challenge the boundaries of what sound can be. And in doing so, he's become a cult figure, a dark prophet for a generation that refuses to be confined by the standard narrative. Young producers look to him not just for inspiration but for permission, to step outside the norm, to mix technology with emotion, and to trust that there is a path beyond the predictable. It's no wonder that his music resonates with darkwave aficionados and hardcore techno heads alike. He doesn't just make music, he shapes entire worlds with it. Where does he go from here? The thing about VV303 is that he's never satisfied with the present. With every new release, every new project, he's exploring new territories, carving new paths in the landscape of sound. His work is a constant evolution, never stagnating, never standing still. He's never afraid to push his sound further, to go places no one else has dared to go. What's next? Who knows? Maybe he'll start crafting soundtracks for films, or maybe he'll step into the world of multimedia art installations. Wherever he goes, though, you can bet it won't be boring. One thing's for sure, VV303 is no ordinary artist. He's a force of nature, a mad scientist in the laboratory of sound, and a guide into the unknown. His music isn't just about listening, it's about experiencing. It's a call to exploration in a world where too many are content to stand still. And the world is listening whether they realize it or not. We're all just here, waiting to see where his sonic journey takes us next.